got you. We in the dome right now, we in the zone right now. Put your hands in the air, cause it's on right now. Yeah, we back up in this thing and we coming for the crown. Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
We in the dome right now, we in the zone right now. Put your hands in the air, cause it's on right now. Yeah, we back up in this thing and we coming for the crown. Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
As you can tell, last year it was an off year, but we reloaded and now it is our boss year. Seated back there and yeah, we got the badger. Don't forget Marshawn and don't forget the pass rush. Jameis QB1 dropping down to MT. Ball handed off the Alvin with the quick feet. So when you see the Saints marching, yeah, we gon' trouble you. At the Super Bowl party eating on them double. We in the dome right now, we in the zone right now. Put your hands in the air, cause it's on right now. Yeah, we back up in this thing and we coming for the crown. Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
We in the dome right now, we in the zone right now. Put your hands in the air, cause it's on right now. Yeah, we back up in this thing and we coming for the crown. Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. NewOrleans.Football podcast presented by Sant CPA, coming to you live from the Better Call Botto podcast studio. We got a good show for you tonight. Jarvis Landry actually signed after the last episode, so we're getting into that for the first time. We got the minicamp review, and we're going to hit on a handful of other topics. Kev, how you doing, man?
Will, with the quick feet, ever not be funny?
Shout out to Bun for the intro song. Second time we're playing it. Still loving it, man. Still loving it.
Man, I laugh every time I hear that part. With the quick feet.
So before we get started on the pod, we got to do our business. So if you are a business owner needing some guidance with your daily accounting, Daniel Sant CPA can help get your finances in order. They provide relevant accounting information, detailed analysis, and clear communication in a timely manner. Call today, 318-321-2765, or visit santcpa.com. And if you need legal help with any of the following: car wrecks, offshore injuries, 18-wheeler collisions, Maritime Jones Act, hurricane and storm claims, you better call Botto at 504-323-4777 or 985-677-1085 for your free consultation and case review. BottoLaw.com. All that's in the show notes. And also check out our guys, Firehouse Subs, Veterans Boulevard location. Get out there, get a sub. They got good food, and you will like it if you go there. Where you want to start? You want to start with Landry?
Got to.
What you got?
Man, talk about the signing. Talk about what. Just give me your thoughts on it. You know, sometimes I like to throw you a lob. Sometimes I just give you the ball in the open court. This is one of them open court passes. You can do whatever dunk you want.
I feel like the fact that they got him for $3 million is absolutely insane. And again, I don't think that's like reflective of him not having a market or anything. Like, he did have a market. I just think maybe they played the market aggressively. He ended up changing agents at some point because he didn't find the money he wanted. And I think it just kind of got to a point where things softened up a little bit and there were only a few chairs left. And then you kind of pick your, where do you want to go at that point if the big money isn't there dictating the decision or at least influencing the decision in some manner. So I think this is a great situation for him. I think he's a good finishing touch for this team. $3 million is crazy. I mean, that might end up being one of the better signings of the offseason if he fits in with the fabric of this offense. And I think that's going to be, I think the most fascinating aspect of this team is going to be just to kind of see how the passing game comes together, because you got a couple of guys that I think really dominate over the middle. You got a quarterback who didn't throw the ball over the middle a lot last year. Does that change? Does his approach overall change? Like, he's been better outside the numbers. Do you change maybe the way these guys operate? I think the answer to that is yes, to some degree. I think Jameis has to meet them where they're at to some degree. But I think it's going to be fascinating to kind of see, because you kind of got two guys that are kind of perfect for like a dink and dunk type of offense. And you got Olave who can stretch the field. I'm going to be fascinated to see who the number one receiver is at the end of the season. Like, I don't necessarily know that you automatically default to where I think you automatically kind of want to default to. Like, I think it could play out any which way. I wouldn't be totally shocked if Olave ends up being the yards leader at the end of the season. I think that's entirely possible just because he can get deep and it only takes a few plays, but like it wouldn't shock me if his skill set fits in best of all with Jamin. I mean, it's just going to be absolutely fascinating to see how everything comes together. I think Mike probably ends up being the lead dog, but it just wouldn't blow my mind if it went another direction. And I don't know, if he gets the same number of targets he's always gotten. I don't know how many targets Jarvis will get. I mean, I think it's going to be truly fascinating to just kind of see where the chips fall. But there's a lot of chips now, and there weren't any chips before. So the team's in a much better situation, and I'm frankly like excited. Like I wish the season started tomorrow. Like I'm ready to see what this team can do.
Man, I just want to have a little exercise. I want to have a little exercise. Chat, I need your help. Chat, are y'all listening? Everybody just type in chat. The Saints have good wide receivers. Like just being able to say that statement, just being able to articulate that and it be, in the realm of like reality. It's exciting, right? I mean, I know I've said this before, but when they got all these weapons, like you the first person I thought about. I was like, my guy, he ain't gonna be sending me these sad text messages watching film on these guys at 1 a.m, in the dark, bottle of whiskey next to you, some sad music going on. It just feels good to, see the weapons that they have. And so it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be covering this team, to be honest with you. I'm just glad that this is just a little awful. I'm just glad I get to talk about it in front of people, and it's an exciting year. And I'm it's gonna be fun, man. And it's your job. It doesn't even feel like a job. It's like something that
It never feels like a
I
job.
love to do, and I just I get a little bread for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but
So and if you are excited about the season, go to NewOrleans.Football, sign up, use the code WEAPONS, 20% off the first payment of any subscription. Get on there, use that, lock in, be set for the season by going for a year, or just try us out and save 20%. Promise you will not be disappointed. We got a cool feature on Trevor Penning coming up. We got Alante Taylor story coming up, film studies. We still got to break down every pass that Jarvis Landry's caught since he found out he had hands as a 3-year-old. Whatever we got to do,
how we roll.
we're gonna do the work. Yeah, so come check us out.
Yeah, we don't shortcut it here. By the way, guys, I'm drinking sparkling water, not soda. I know I was gonna get some DMs about that. But no, dude, no, I get asked about a lot. Like, do I have a buy sponsorship? I'm gonna have to start taping the names on the containers we drink
Come
out
on,
of.
man.
Oh man, listen, man, and so just into the Landry signing, right? I think he fits like a glove on this team, right? I think he fits like a glove. I'm just gonna do a little humble brag, not for myself, but for NewOrleans.Football, right? I mean, Honey Badger called it, Olave called it, Penning called it. On the Journey to the Draft podcast with Fran Duffy, Ben Fennell, and you were a guest on that podcast. They were highlighting the guests that they had from each team to come and do the pick, because they did it. It's not too different from what you did, where you had guys from all over the league kind of make a pick for their team, and you did that for that podcast, and they were highlighting how you nailed the Saints pick. I was listening to that pod, and
Did I get both of them?
I think that you made both of those picks.
Oh, all right.
I think you made both of those picks, and you got both of them right. So,
okay.
Only person, how we do it. It's a little humble brag, but yeah, Honey Badger called it. Olave called it. Marcus May, we called it. Trevor Penning called it. Landry, we were advocating for it, kind of called it. And even something as simple as like interior O-line depth. So, guys, listen, sign up. Just sign up, man. We in here, we having a good year. We starting off, we having a strong mini camp. We're season ready. So, yeah, it just feels good to kind of, hit a few out the park, man. It's a good feeling. But yeah, Landry, I think I mean, I can just be really quick about it. I mean, he fits this team. I think I usually don't. This is not something I usually start with a player, but with him, I think it's applicable. man, he's like crazy competitive, and I think that fits into the room like with Mike there and Olave. So him being a rookie, I think it is going to help his career. Like when you come into the room with a couple of alpha dogs like that, and I also think it's going to help his career development because look at someone like CeeDee Lamb, right? When he got to the NFL, there was Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup already in the room, right? And the Wilson kid who went to Miami, he got signed for a decent contract. So, he was able to kind of ease his way into the NFL, right? To now he's going to probably have a bigger role this year. And so I think that's kind of the same case with Olave, right? It just takes so much pressure off him. One of the first things I tweeted when Landry got signed was that Olave, like he's not gonna be the focus of any team unless he becomes, a Hall of Famer, right? As I'm being, I'm over exaggerating here, but unless he just has this bomb year. And if you start doubling him, then you got AK, Mike, and Landry, right? So everybody can't be doubled, right? And so I just think it's going to help him out a lot. And another underrated thing I think about Landry is that he's a really good run blocker. And I know I always talk about this with wide receivers, but the Saints coaching staff talks about it, right? So they tell you what their attributes are. And so I just think, those. I mean, I can talk about how he runs routes. He's got huge hands. He doesn't drop the ball. He's competitive. He goes over the middle. All of that stuff. But just those two intangibles, I think is gonna help out a lot. And anything you can do to boost the rookie's confidence and his play, I think it's gonna be it's a heck of a signing. I think it's a heck of a signing.
I think I had Jameson Williams. I did two mock drafts with Fran. The first one I think I had Jameson Williams, and then the one right before the draft I think I had Olave. So we didn't get them all right, but that wasn't dictated. But
Well, give Fran a little credit. Fran was like, he's like Underhill called Olave, so he gave you the good test.
Yeah. No, we actually, sometimes in those mock drafts you're dictated by who was available. So it's not like an actual prediction.
Right. If the Falcons take Olave, you don't have a chance to be right.
Right.
Yeah.
On Jarvis, I think it's a great addition. I think it changes the outlook of the team. Look, we said this before that everything I think resides kind of not everything, but I think everything is set up for Jameis to have a good season. He has a good defense. He has great receivers. He has Alvin Kamara for however many games he's available. He has a offensive line of first and second round picks. At this point, show him what you got. Like, you've been waiting for the opportunity to be in an offense that's friendly to you, to have consistency with your coordinators.
Yep.
Granted, Sean's gone, but you're still running the same system.
Yep.
You got good players.
Yep.
It's there, man. It's there for the taking.
They have put the food in front of you. They've cut it up for you already. You got a waiter with a spoon. She's just spoon. Basically, everything is set up. The table is set. The utensils are there. You got the water on the right side, the wine on the left side. You got the knives, the forks, the salad spoon, the steak knife. The table is set. The table is set, right? You can say interior O-line, and I would, if you was to force me into say something, and maybe tight end, right? But at the end of the day,
I don't know if I go that everything's cut up because like the tight end isn't there, and like you said, the O-line has a couple questions, but everything's there to succeed. It would be hard to make the argument that something has failed the quarterback in this situation
unless injuries pop up again. That's the only thing, right? I think a good quarterback makes the O-line better. Sure. In my opinion, right?
Breeze made them way better than people thought they were. That line was never as good as everybody thought. Like, it was a very good line, but it was the best line in the NFL because Drew threw the ball in 2.2, 2.3 seconds. Yeah. There wasn't enough time for pressure. Everything was quick game from 27 until the end. And it's hard to give up sacks when the ball's coming out that quick. It just really is. To your point, absolutely. Yes, the quarterback makes the line better. I do think that Jameis plays a different brand of football. I think that he plays to develop a little bit longer. So the line needs to hold a little bit. I think they're going to use more play action, so the line needs to hold a little bit. So the line needs to be able to support him. So if there are weaknesses, I don't know if it works the same way, but you are going to have two players that can get open extremely fast. And if the line is weak, you need to find a way to get the ball out a little bit quicker and kind of protect yourself from them, and you will have the weaponry to do that. So Yeah, I mean, I think everything's there. Throughout his career, I think that there's a lot of valid arguments about systems and players and coaches and inconsistencies and staffs and changeover and all that stuff. That's gone. That's gone. I think the
Y-
situation is set up for him to have a good season, and I think he'll take advantage. I do. I think it will be hard not to. I think the players are there. As we said at the top, I think there needs to be some, working to his strengths to make sure. You can have Mike run quick outs, Mike and Jarvis running quick outs and doing stuff outside the numbers and still kind of accomplish the same things without necessarily, having digs and things like that. So there's ways to accommodate the skill set and kind of where his vision kind of takes him into where he's best. And you can set up, some of the levels, stuff down the sidelines and all that stuff. So I think there's a lot of ways to take advantage of what he does and their skill sets and kind of marry it all together. So yeah, I'm of the thought that the team, in some degrees, are going to go as far as he goes.
Yeah, I mean, Jameis got drafted in 2015, right? So he is a very professional quarterback, right? And so I think
Yeah.
he's at the point in his career where I do expect him to be able to modify his game as needed, right?
Mhm.
I mean, we listen. The expectations are high for Jameis, for Mike Thomas, Jarvis Landry. This team is trying to win a Super Bowl. They have a Super Bowl roster. If now the two questions that you would say is quarterback and head coach, right? Because the quarterback is coming off a serious knee injury, so that
Yep.
has to be a question. You can't come off an ACL and just act like things are normal, right? And then you have a new head coach who in a new offensive coordinator where theoretically it should work and conceptually it would work, and I would hedge my bets on that it would work, but it has to play out and work, right? And Jameis has to be helped. Now he said he can suit up today, but then later in the interview he was like, I'm progressing things slowly, right? So I'm pretty sure he wouldn't suit up today, which is fine, right? No need to rush it. Game start in September. You got months. So yeah, but I'm expecting high things of Jameis. I expect Jameis to elevate the O line. I expect him to no pressure, see pressure, get the ball out when the time is right, hit open receivers, throw the ball over the middle. And I think that's what Jameis expects of himself. I think that's what Jameis wants us to expect from him. So, yeah, this team is. You've been saying it since, oh my gosh, like day one, that this team feel like they can win. They compete. There's no rebuild going on, and they have validated that times 100, like a parking ticket. You know what I mean? It's it's there, right? This is a Super Bowl roster if those two aspects of the team work out, and that they feel the same way. And I just think I think it behooves us to cover the team that way, right? And that's just how it is. What you laughing? You
Just
let
the
you my
random
bar,
bar. The
my
random
bar? Yeah,
bar.
you like that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that. Yeah, I threw that in there. I threw that in there. I threw that in there. I just started off the top of my head too. I got bars, man. I've been listening to that Kendrick. I'm on like listen 50, so I'm in my rap bag. but but yeah, and so I think so. Just a couple of questions for you. Um, I think from my perspective, I still have questions about Mike's health. A little video he released. He was looking a
I disagree
little.
with everyone's take on that. That's just
I'm
kind
not
of how he
saying I don't
runs.
have no take. I'm just saying
That's just
get him
kind of how
at
he runs.
time.
Yeah, he's always. I mean, he came into the league with 4.57 speed. He's probably been like 4.65 for a couple. Like the last time we saw him healthy. Like
Four
nobody.
six five.
But for real though, like nobody's running their combine time in the league, and he's gained weight since he came into the league. Like
Yeah,
he's
he's got
he's
bigger
bulked
and
up
bulkier.
considerably
Yeah,
every single year. Yeah,
yeah.
he's not someone that runs with speed. So I think he's always kind of like run a little bit, kind of looking like that. So
No mugging.
look, my takeaway from that video is, and
Mike alive.
I don't know when he found out, but I don't know that it's a conspiracy type of person might not think it's a coincidence that the first time we've seen Mike run
When
in 2
Jarvis
years
got
is hours before the Jarvis Landry signing becomes public. And I don't
yeah.
think the Jarvis Landry signing happens without Mike being aware that it's
Oh
ongoing.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
not saying Mike. I don't think Mike's signing off on anything or they're coming to him for approval, but I think they're keeping Mike in the loop of, hey, we're going to bring Jarvis in.
You don't bring in
being the
another
most
alpha male
yeah.
without talking to
And
Mike.
Mike being the most competitive person in the world probably wants everyone to, hey,
I'm still here.
yeah,
Y'all
right.
been talking about Olave last week and Jarvis Landry this week.
Yeah. Like,
Don't
I'm
forget
still around.
about me. Yeah, don't
And
forget about me.
it could be a total coincidence. I'm
I
not
think
saying
that's a
anything.
good thing, though. I
It could
think
be a
that's
total
good.
coincidence, but if it's not, I think it's fair to wonder.
I think it's valid. I think
It's
it's
fair
valid.
to wonder.
What makes Mike great? I think his competitiveness makes him great. I think that's required of Mike. I think Mike Thomas' competitiveness makes him the wide receiver that he is.
I think
Right.
anybody who's good at anything has that.
Yeah, and so he was like, "Oh, y'all got these two other guys coming in. No, don't. I'm the alpha dog on this team. I'm like happy. That's the Mike I want back. I don't want a passive. I mean, this new friendly Mike is cool, but I'm like, I need you and Chauncey to have a little fisticuffs.
No.
I'm
You
joking,
don't want
man.
that.
I'm
You don't
joking.
want that.
I'm joking. But yeah, I mean, but I will say that it alleviates, because we may not ever see the prime Mike that we saw before. Now we might not, right? But I will say that,
I think we'll see him again.
and hopefully, right? But we'll see, right?
Yeah, we'll see for sure.
But if we don't, I think there's a little bit more margin for error here. You give Olave a little bit more rope, and then Jarvis Landry. So you're protecting yourself in the event that Mike takes a few games just to get back into the groove of playing NFL, right? I mean, there's a few different scenarios here. So I think signing Jarvis Landry gives you a little bit more rope to kind of like, you're a larger margin for error offensively, right? AK is going to be out too, so it's not as much pressure on him and Olave just to be these guys at the start. I think that's significant.
Assuming he's able to play and healthy and everything. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's possible that if Mike's numbers, if he's healthy, like, I think it's probably more likely that his numbers don't hit what they hit because his role in the offense just simply isn't what it was before. Because the quarterback isn't going to have the same limitations. Like, Drew's limitations was equally, like, Mike was one of the best receivers, most talented receivers in the league, but Drew's limitations, I think,
a lot of things came together.
Yeah. It gave him the targets to have the most productive season of all time. And I'm not saying Mike got that because Drew was injured. I'm just saying Drew being injured just maximized the targets and all that. Like, Mike was still doing a ton, incredible player, all that stuff. I'm not taking.
He did it with Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill, so we know that. But we do, but Drew helped.
You go from 150 targets to 185 because the quarterback can't throw to throw outside the numbers. Yeah,
you think over 20 is
and even if Drew could throw outside the numbers, like, that's still a better decision to go to Mike. But it gets you there, because he can't throw down the field.
Yeah, he couldn't throw. Yeah, he definitely couldn't throw down the field. I'm glad that little. I mean, I like played it up. Like, I knew Drew wasn't coming back. Like, come on, like But I like played it up a little bit because I just like to instigate a little bit. But I'm glad that got cleared quickly. Hey man, I would just this next topic's for the fans, man. This one's for chat. Another little wide receiver they went to LSU. It's kind of just unsigned.
D. Anderson?
Huh?
D. Anderson?
Yeah. No. I'm talking about Mr. Anderson.
I'm telling you, man, I would sign him though. For real, D. Anderson, I would sign him, tell him to gain 15 pounds and try him out at wide receiver. Or a tight end rather. Yeah. Like, that would be my move. I'd be, hey man, bulk up, play tight end. He looked really good at rookie camp. Like, he moved well, big guy, good size. I think I would try to, see if you gotta do it again, And I think that's that's something I would probably try to do every couple of years.
Move wide receiver
if I were in a team. Yeah, like you get somebody that has good size, decent skill set, have them bulk up and see if they can be a tight end. And why not? I mean, I think it's something that's smart. I mean, a lot of teams, when you hit on those type of players, like, they tend to be really good, and it's a good way to, like, exploit kind of a market inefficiency and maybe get a good player.
Steal something. Yeah.
And I think D could do that. I would give him a shot to do it and kind of have him compete at that spot. I still think Juwan Johnson's going to be good at that position as he continues to develop it, but it wouldn't hurt to try to, continually bring somebody in and see where it goes.
Yeah, and I talk about the other wide receiver from LSU.
Who's that?
Guy won a little Super Bowl.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's clear that he's kind of, like, wanting to be here.
I know. Like,
I don't know if he's kind of kind of playing to the fans. But look, he was close to coming here last year, and yeah, I mean, it seems like he would like to be here. And
Jarvis said on WWO probably like an hour ago that he's trying hard, which I don't know what that means. And I'm just instigating here. Whatever. But yeah, it's we just gotta at least talk about it. We just gotta. How would that work though? Just in your mind, like what is that? Is that four wide? Like
yeah, why not?
what does that look like?
Yeah, why not?
I agree. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it. Or put Mike in the side of tight end or something. Like he can play inside, outside. They use tight ends like wide receivers anyway. So your 11 personnel, you just change the wide receiver for a tight end, and you're passing anyway. So, yeah, no need to focus on that topic. If they sign, I'm not calling that one like I called Landry. But if it happens, then whatever, man. It's that type of year anyway. Like they just make it crazy, right? And I mean, I'll say this, they have good depth at wide receiver. There are other positions on the team that I think would make more sense to address if you had to address it. But but yeah,
I don't think it's like an either or proposition though. Like you sign him, you throw him on PUP, you wait for him to get healthy, and bring him back at the whenever, and you got him on ice if something goes wrong.
There you go.
Your depth just kind of hits it, and you're off. You go in the playoffs. So. Yeah, I don't think it'd be hindering anything. It's not like it's and they got money. It's not.
You're not going to sign up for $20 billion a year, neither. Yeah. I mean, I'll say this: you can't have too many wide receivers, right? And so people was like, "Oh, there's no space." I'm like, man,
yeah, there is.
Did you watch last year? Do you watch the NFL on Sundays? Like, there is plenty space for another wide receiver.
It's it's crazy when people say that. There's 7 dudes that are inactive every game, and half those dudes are inactive for every single game in the season.
Yeah,
they're always like, "Oh, what do you like?" You can't have that many quarterbacks. You can't have any. Like, why not? Like, it doesn't.
Who's stopping you from? Yeah,
right.
Like, yeah. So I don't want to hear anything about. We got too many offensive weapons. Like, did you watch the 2021 season?
And then there's always a transaction you can make with like a player that's going to clear through waivers and all that, and you can move them up and down. There's a will clap on every roster
every team
that you can send up and down, up and down, up and down, and yeah.
Man, it'd be fun, man. Like, I mean, New Orleans would be. Like they make it would just be. I'm gonna have to just come. If they sign Beckham, I'm coming back. We gotta just have some type of social. Like as soon as we get the Better Call Bordeaux Studios, I'm just coming down. We doing just live pods all week. It's gonna be wild, man. Just the last thing on wide receivers, I will say, and we're just scraping the surface. We'll be doing film studies, every Jarvis Landry snap and etc. Right, but. I do appreciate how they just attacked a weakness on their team. I think I like that. I think it's okay if something is like so bad, it's okay to make it so good, right? And that's oversimplistic, but I just think that kudos to the front office and the decision makers on the way that they took care of this and getting that Landry under the contract that they got him under. Okay, so just we'll go high level. We'll just keep this topic high level. We don't have to go into depth because each guy we'll get into each guy maybe in subsequent pods, etc. But just overall, your thoughts on the rookie mini camp, and let's start from the back. Like, what's a guy that stood out to you? I guess you just mentioned just a second ago. Like, what's some of the guys that stood out to you? Like, okay, well,
we didn't get to see a whole lot of practice, so I mean, he was really kind of the only one that I would kind of feel comfortable putting my name behind.
Okay. Olave looks like he runs routes like he ran routes on tape.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just one of them guys, huh? One thing that stood out about what he said was that him and Taylor said it actually. They were just like, and even Jordan Jackson, the DT from Air Force. They were just like, yeah, the playbook is pretty easy. Like, we're getting it. Like Alontae Taylor, this guy.
We'll see.
Yeah, I know it's just like real confident. I'm like, man, yeah, this is like the first exposure to it. But if it turns out that way, then
especially offensively. But yeah, I mean, if they're picking it up that quick on offense, I don't know that the defense has the same, they don't have the long play calls and all that stuff. So it's a little bit different.
When
they start, yeah, and I mean, there's only so much stuff you can run on defense too. Yeah. So
you're not doing red zone installs and stuff like that early, probably, right?
Right. But also like if you play in the secondary, it's the coverages are the same everywhere. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. And that's actually what that's what Taylor said. He was like, the defense that I played in Tennessee just prepared me. We just the same stuff. We call it something different, and you run with it. So I,
yeah, offensively it's the long play calls and all that. So like if Olave's picking it up that quick, I mean that's huge. But we'll see. We'll see as it goes on.
yeah. I'm not just bought into like, all right, this guy's like, what's the guy that Sean Payton always talks about, learned the offense quicker than anyone? Dave Thomas, right? When Heath Evans got hurt the Super Bowl year, and he was like, this guy picked up the playbook, I just remember he always tells that. Sean tells the same stories over and over and over and
Oh,
over.
okay.
Yeah, he just just like Sean, like, no, let me just finish the sentence for you. I'm rapping it like Mr. Morale in the Big Step, just quoting it. Like, Sean, chill, retire. But
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
no, I'm just joking. I mean, he did. Like, he agrees. But yeah, and so but yeah, I will say this though, man. After Taylor, he looks like an NFL cornerback though.
Oh, he's a big dude. Yeah,
He looks
he's a
like
big dude. Olave looked the part. I mean, I thought he just moves different. It's his movement skills are special. Taylor looked huge. Just amongst the other guys, Penning's
Penning looks jacked.
he's
I mean,
yeah
bro,
he's
bro,
he's a big ass dude. Yeah, he's
bro.
ginormous. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. I saw him beside some other offensive linemen. I was like, is this like a Northern Iowa photo in Saints jerseys, or is this
right.
man like a legit giant? Yeah, he's a big dude, man. He's a big dude, and yeah, I think that his play is going to be one of the bigger things. I think and we'll get into camp. This is not a camp battle conversation, but just he's to me probably the most intriguing rookie. Like at this point, like someone who I think
Penning.
has to be good. Yeah, I think he has to play. Like if Olave's like good in parts, you have a lot of backup there. AK's pretty good last time I checked. Mike Thomas was pretty good last time I checked. Jarvis Landry was pretty good last time I checked. Right. So if he's not great, you have a plan B, right? Even Marquez Callaway, Hardy, those guys are like better in 3 and 4 than they are in 1, 2. Right. So behind Mike and Jarvis, I think you have a little bit more leeway there, larger
I
margin
don't
for
know.
error.
I don't know if I agree with this. I mean, because I think James Hurst is viable. I don't think.
That's fair.
I don't think if like Penning's bad, the season's over. Like I don't think he's like that critical. Like if he's a bad player, I don't think it would affect my win total for the team going from him to Hurts. Like my just expectations at that position going into the season is like just to be fine, and they could exceed that. Like I don't necessarily like they were fine with James Hurst last year, and you aren't thriving. Your run game isn't great, but you're okay.
Yeah,
You're
that's
okay.
what.
And Ramchek's going to be healthy this year, so I think like if you had to play with Hurst and Ramchek's healthy, you just run the ball to the right side more, like and kind of make up for it there.
Yeah, I guess how I was phrasing it is, if he plays well, you may get more out. Like if you, well, here's the question, right? If you had to pick a guy to win Offensive Rookie of the Year out of Trevor Penning and Chris Olave,
yeah.
which one would you choose?
Obviously.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that no, I'm saying like if Penning, if he's good, then you may get more out of the team as a whole than if Olave is good, because Olave has these other guys in this position group. Where if Penning's good, like you go from a potentially good team to a great team because you're left side of the O-line and he's a mauling run blocker. So I just think there's a lot of ceiling for the offense if Penning is just really good. I probably phrased that wrong, but that's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah, I mean, like as far as like pressure point players go, I think there's only one on the team, and I think it's Jameis.
Jameis Winston. Yeah, that's and Garrett Hartley. I mean, I'm joking. Will Lutz. Yeah, listen, a healthy kicker. Last year you put kicker higher than me, and I was wrong and you were right, because they lost some games because so it was good to see him. He's healthy now, so I know some people probably overlooked that, but they legit couldn't do some things last year.
Yeah, they lost games because of that.
Yeah, they lost games.
They're a playoff team with healthy loss.
That's a good point. So what's next for the team? The rookie mini camps was this past weekend, and then
OTAs next week. OTAs a week after that. OTAs a week after that. And then mini camp.
Okay. Yep. Someone said Ruiz as a pressure point player, which That's fair. That's fine too. If you can get more out of him, if he's average, then I think you take that. So all right, man. Well, that's it. That's all we got.
Maybe like no,
Nope. All right.
no, because like if Ruiz got hurt week 1, I don't think it sinks the season. So I disagree with that. I think there's only one player that I think really, and there's a lot of years where I think there's more, but like I really kind of feel like this year there's one guy. Like there's just kind of that's
This
the one guy.
So
If he gets hurt week 1, I think the season's ruined. Like
who's
I
number
don't know
2?
that the team's that thin anywhere else that where I would say if a dude got hurt, like it's just in the can. And they'd
DeMario?
probably still win games without him, like they always do. But like I kind of feel like he's the difference between playoffs or not playoffs, or going far in the playoffs or not. So he's just kind of the one guy that I look at where I think the season kind of swings on him with his performance, with his availability. And
he's clearly the pressure. He is the it's him, and then everybody else is a distant fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Obviously,
like you take Ruiz out, I don't think it changes the season.
Yeah, you just put James Hurst there. I mean, I think you take Ruiz out, and I'm not the guy, but you may upgrade in that position. If
I don't think you upgrade, but I think you're fine.
Yeah,
there's a path to being fine. Yeah,
it's possible because I mean, we're saying the same thing. Yeah, we're saying the same. I think, I don't think I think he's a guy that, when you talk about the O line, I mean, the difference between a, average O line and maybe a little bit above average O line.
Yeah, I mean, you're pulling off the top of the Jenga tower there. I mean,
yeah, maybe like 20% down, but yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Like it isn't like a whoa,
it's not.
Like you're pulling it out, yeah.
Yeah, because Jameis is like the one Jenga block, and everything is on top of it. And if it moves like a centimeter the wrong way, then the whole thing comes crashing down. Since your quarterback, and what is the red? The Andy Dalton take a snap. No offense to Andy, but like, just don't. Come on, Jameis, just slide, bro. Just slide and stay healthy. We need you, because it'll make the season more fun. What about DeMario? As a pressure point player, how you feel about him?
I think the defense is strong enough around.
Okay. If you had to say on the spot topic, Jameis obviously number 1. Give me your 2 through 5. We'll finish it off with this 2 through 5 pressure point.
2 through 5. I mean, Will Lutz 2. for real.
Listen, I messed that up last year. I'm not making the same
for real.
mistake.
Marshawn, I think, will be 3, just given the schedule they're playing this year. I think it's arguably 2, 3, just with the schedule they're playing this year. I think
Marshawn is 2.
I think it's critical with all the. I mean, he's facing a number 1 guy like almost every week.
Every week, man. Yeah, it's wild.
I think Ramchek's up there. Just give him what else is on the line. I'd have him somewhere in the top 5. And I don't know. Maybe Honey Badger, because May's going to be suspended to start the year. I think maybe his importance goes up a little bit, and I think maybe you need someone back there to help get everybody set up.
I think you could.
Mario's up there.
Okay. I think Davenport is one of those guys who I think you'll be fine if he.
Yeah, Davenport's average, Davenport's in there.
But when he's good, the whole he is the one player who, when he's on the field, the defense just like it's totally different.
Yeah, I think Davenport's in there. I think Davenport would be my number 5. Yeah. Just because we saw like the difference between Cam with and without, just and I think it just kind of everybody eats a little bit more when he's around. So I will put him. I put him. They're saying they've seen the Saints be successful without him. Yeah, they've won games, but their pass rush doesn't thrive without him. I mean, we saw it clearly last year. Cam wasn't getting sacks, and then he comes back and Cam's getting sacks.
They were trying to retire Cam before when Davenport was out. Like,
and you start breaking it down, and you see how the double team distribution goes and everything. There's a very clear, tangible impact that's undeniable. So yeah, I mean, they can win games without him. That's why he's 5th on the list and not first. But I think he's somebody where, just as Kevin Appley pointed out, like things just kind of change without him. I got one more thing for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was talking to someone last night, Peyton, and he made a valid point about Jameis that I hadn't considered before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you think the impact of the knee will be, like, say, on 3rd downs, if he isn't fully
mobile?
Yeah.
I think it matters. I think it matters. I thought about that when I said the the offensive coordinator / head coach and quarterback with the ACL. Like you can't just assume that the ACL. Jameis, his scrambling was a pretty decent part of
Oh, it was a huge
what
part.
he did last year. Like he was good at that. Now he's a very awkward scrambler, but it works, and that's all that matters. And so yeah, if he has to dial that down a little bit, that puts now. But let's bring it full circle, right? Now a lot of guys not open. So usually when you're scrambling, it's because your wide receivers decided to not get open on that down.
But
Right?
your guys can get open if they're worried about the scramble too.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good point. That helps. That actually helps.
You might not necessarily want like your back to these guys on third and long.
Third and 5, 3rd and 6. But ideally, right? Ideally, he will never have to scramble. Because it's just right when he scrambles. That means the structure of the play broke down, right? And I think Jameis scrambles to throw. He doesn't scramble to run, even though he is a good running scrambler. So I think that's an asset in this game. And so you mentioned in the Olave article, NewOrleans.Football /subscribe, 20% off on the subscription using code WEAPONS. If you're in this chat, read how is it, Chiron down at the bottom of the screen? We got one of those. You spoke about it in the article. I'll give a little bit of the article. We usually don't do this, but you spoke about like how he, after the structure of the play broke down, he was able to, make himself in a presentable target to Shroud, the quarterback, and make a play on the ball. And I think that, and Mike and Jarvis obviously will be good at that. So I think it'll matter, but I think having better weapons will make it not matter as much.
Last talking point.
Right now is 11-win season let down. Oh man,
that expectations.
Oh my
god, sky high.
Oh my
sky
god,
sky
high.
So
let me be honest with you, Nick.
I would pick 11 wins. Period.
I'm not ready to talk about this. I am unprepared for this topic.
I think I don't think 11 wins would be a letdown. I think 11 wins would be a good season.
What did you have him before, Jarvis?
I had him at like 10, and I bumped it up to 11.
I think I had it at 8 or 9. I think you had it at 9 or 10. I think you were 9 or 10.
No, I tweeted 10. I tweeted 10, and people were like furious at me.
Oh, really? That's why I don't tweet my. I'm glad I got very low.
They're like, one more win.
Give me 11, bro.
Look, the schedule's tough. Alvin might be suspended. May's going to be suspended to start the season.
Mike,
like it's a tough run. Like 10 wins is a good season. 10 wins is enduring some of the early season struggles and then getting into the playoffs and then you're full strength in the playoffs. I didn't think it was going to be as controversial as it was, but I'm at 11 now. I'm at 11 wins. I think I was like, kind of bordering 10, 11. I'm like, I don't know. I'll go with 10. And now like Jarvis, like it's kind of pushes.
But they can't start slow though.
No, they can't. But
absolutely cannot. That's the easy part of your schedule, right? You got Seattle, you got Atlanta, you got Carolina, right? Or if you're for your first 5 games, or I forget exactly the schedule off the top of my head, but I know you got your 3 division games, Seattle and Minnesota, right? So you should theoretically go 4-1, maybe lose to Tampa in there. I know, and guys, don't hit me with the Tampa stuff. I know they own them, but you can't afford to struggle in that stretch of the season, right? You guys heard our schedule pod, and you guys would already have some of these talking points. But that's if you're a subscriber, you heard that. But yeah, they can't start slow. So I think that
8 or 9, 8's wild though, man. 8 feels really low to me.
Well, here's why, right? I don't know about the knee. I got to see the knee, man. I got to see Jameis. I got to see the knee, right? I got to see Pete Carmichael, and I got to see him just do it by himself. I think that's the thing, even though he's done it before. But DA is a new head coach. Mike's coming off an injury. Olave is a rookie, and Jarvis was hurt last year, right? So I think it's enough questions. Now, I would probably be cool with 10. If you ask me right now, I'd say 9 or 10, right? Ask me when training camp, when I see Mike healthy, Jameis healthy, then I'll feel a little bit better. But just those questions I have about the health, that's what's holding me back. It's not the talent. It's just, are these guys going to be ready to play? That's the reason why it's like not 11 and it's like 9 or 10. I think that's fair.
I think 8's wild. Like 8 was a wild number to put out there.
I mean, I went from 8 or 9 and I'm at 9 or 10.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm high on the team. I think they have a Super Bowl roster, but I just think I need to see the health. And if I
That's,
see,
I mean, I think that's reasonable.
yeah, if they're healthy in training camp, then I'm looking at 11, possibly 12, depending on. Actually, you know what? I'm not falling for the training camp stuff ever again. But because be a little. You see something you don't really see in training camp. That happens quite a bit. But I think I'll probably land at 11, right? If everybody's healthy, and I think that's a
Okay.
fair prediction, right? Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair.
I guess I just, I assume the best and then adjust for the worst. I mean, so I'm just not as negative as you are,
I'm a
just in general.
pessimist. I'm a
Yeah.
pessimist. I'm a pessimist. I'm a pessimist. But look, between the two of us, we've been hitting it out the park. So I think if you add me and you together and divide by 2, our average is better than
All right.
others. So I got to balance you out, man. All right. So guys, look, here's the deal. Right? If you're not subscribed to